Hi, friends. Gene Valentino from the GrassRoots TruthCast. Mike Lindell's been with us on our shows for nearly 3 years now. Go to mypillow.com, promo code GeneV, or you can call it in. It's 1-800-589-4706. Mike's was a one-problem solution company with one product, the pillow. Today, it's hundreds of items in his website, mypillow.com. Now he's gotten to a point where the word's gotten out and they're having a $25 extravaganza. You can get a 2-pack multi-use pillow set for just $25. You got the My Pillow sandals for just $25. You also have their 6-pack bathroom towels for just $25 a set, and the brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. So they have an extravaganza underway right now with many super prices. Good time to start surfing mypillow.com and look through their entire store line of items for holiday gift giving this fall and winter. Thanks for joining us on GrassRoots TruthCast, and thank you, Mike Lindell and the MyPillow family, for being our sponsor on Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast.
With breaking news and political commentary from a public servant, serial entrepreneur, community leader, philanthropist, and American patriot, and a darn nice guy, it's time for the GrassRoots TruthCast and your host, Gene Valentino.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. Welcome to the GrassRoots TruthCast. We're putting together a very interesting series this week with Nanda Baghi from India, born a native of India, the eastern India, but came to the United States almost 20 years ago. He's an American citizen, and he's done miraculous things in this nation. He's reminded me, and I hope he's given some insight to you, about the ability to make a buck in this nation, the opportunities before us that we have at our disposal to work to being a successful nation. In the past few episodes, we've discussed the economy, the political environment, immigration, the security related to it, inflation, prices, and the economy in general. Now, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk with Nanda about abortion and abortion rights. Thank you, Nanda, for joining us here today. It seems like you're very involved with helping many political candidates around the nation in their campaigns. I'm sure you have an opinion about this whole issue of abortion, not just in you can speak to it in the context of where Donald Trump is, but your opinion on this in general. By the way, how does that relate to your homeland of India and how the citizen culture from where you came looks at abortion, and make the comparison between there and the United States? Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Gene. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here again. So again, the abortion is a very, deep issue. As we all know, this is actually in our India, nobody want to go for abortion until there is a risk for mother's life or risk for, child's normal birth. So again, that's also very rare cases. If you look at number of abortions that happen in India, is very low, because fundamentally we as a Hindu nation, we believe in life, pro-life, and we don't want to kill not humans, not animals, not even mosquitoes. That's a philosophy we were bought and we were trained to not to harm or kill anybody and everybody as long as they can move, whether it is a human or even the trees. We don't want to cut the trees because they are the source of our oxygen for human life. So coming to US, it's a very divisive issue, but still we have a framework established by the courts, a 3-level framework. So the first trimester, which is the first 3 months, the mother and the doctor has 100% rights to go for abortion in the first trimester only. In the second, it depends on the condition or health. So again, it depends on doctor and the patient or mother to decide that only in the third trimester, which is 7 to 9 months, because we all know 9 months is the time which takes any baby. So from the seventh to ninth month, when you have a complete form baby with all the human organs and human, related nervous system and everything, that's when we are saying going for an abortion at that point is controlled by some authority at the state level. So the position what our presidential candidate Trump had 8 years ago has changed drastically from the first time he walked down the escalator to today. Today he's very clear on this abortion. He agrees to this 3 point legal system, and he's okay. He's not opposing women rights. He's a big supporter of women rights and blacks. I have seen him personally dozen times. The way he interacts with his server at the golf course or a server at a White House, the way he showed is amazing. I never, expected that level of simplicity and that level of human to human interaction from a sitting president. So the three things he always supportive is give. Now he has changed that, instead of having the federal laws around this, he clearly said the states will decide it, and that too on the third trimester only. So the first and second is never advocated to have a control on human rights or have a control on medical professional rights. He always advocated pro-life, not to kill unless when you arrive at a seventh month, eighth month, ninth month, then you need to have an oversight of a government agency whether what they are doing is really a problem for mother life or a kid's life. Or we know other people who try to do business around the children parts, stem cells, and taking their organs. So he want to avoid that kind of a bad, illegal, criminal behavior. That's the stance he has taken, which we all supported. And in terms of the human rights, he is the first one to stand up and say in women's sports, no transgender should be part of women's sports. That itself, every woman, because as defined by God, we have only two genders. Gender male will have two chromosomes X and Y, and female will have two chromosomes X and X by science. As per the science, as per the God, those are the only two genders. We have 99% of the population in US, but yes, there are some exceptions for whatever reasons, because of God's plan or because of God want to teach some lessons to the people. We have less than 0.5% people who are in this LGBTQ. We respect their rights, we love them as if our own family and friends. But just to create justice for that 0.5%, we cannot harass 99.95% people to change their ways of thinking, change their ways of life, change their working ways. Yes, we need protection for those 0.5. I'm not denying that. But still, that 5% is dealt case by cases, not to give them an access into a men's sports or women's sports. It doesn't even make any sense. As a sportsman, I would never encourage that. If there is a substantial amount, then create a third category, let them compete with the same people. What they did in Olympics is a complete disgrace and disgusting. I would even, if President Trump comes back to White House, I would even recommend a policy for all US companies who are sponsoring these Olympics, have a 10-year ban to sponsor Olympics the way they did the inauguration, with a drag show and demeaning Christians and adding a supper. And on top of it, they had a woman fight with a man who is, again, he claims to be a woman with certificate, but that's not enough. You can do a medical test, a DNA test, and find out the chromosomes. If he has X and Y, then the competitor should be having the same X and Y. They let a woman with X and X chromosomes fight against men and get punched out in less than 45 seconds. She could have been dead. If he continued, she could have been dead on the stage. which these are the things we need to avoid. And no, they can create 100 definitions. All these scientists put a twist and try to manipulate the people's mind, but any definition cannot match or change the science nor God's will.
You know, it was just about 7 months ago, you and I almost bumped into each other, but I can see we were close to each other at the CPAC convention at the Gaylord National Convention Center in National Harbor up in Washington, D.C. on the Maryland side. You were being interviewed by Patriot Mobile, I believe. You were with a Contessa Anna,
Yes.
and I'm curious, what is it she was asking you? Was this a similar topic?
Yes, she is my dear friend Elena's daughter. As you know, Contessa Elena, she's from the royal family from Monaco and settled in Dubai. And we know each other for over 10 years. And whenever I go to Dubai, I had a great interaction with that family. And she requested me to send her daughter and make sure she have some moments or some events with President Trump, and also within the this CPAC Christian faith Republicans. So we ended up going to Florida and had tried to have a conversation and attended an event of a President Trump in Mar-a-Lago. And after that, we went to this Maryland convention where we had crossed in those 3 days few times. But I never knew your background. If I knew you were a media editor or a founder, then I would have strike that. So she was asking the same thing, yes, about this current situation. And again, the people have a perception Republican Party means conservatism and they want to control everything, which is not true. It's only our mainstream media which is paid. And unfortunately, we don't have any legal framework. That's where another Article 230 with President Trump always want to put that article. In the current system, all these mainstream media, they have the protection from the government. Nobody can sue them whether they publish the fake news or false. It's impossible to go after any of these. They claim as a sharing platform, or we are not the creator. Some gaps are there in that.
Yeah.
They are misusing that gaps and trying to manipulate people's feelings and perception. Because at the end, what I've seen in this last 25 years, in the current last election and this election, people are not voting on policy. Majority people, if there are 180 million legal voters, more than 90% people are not voting based on the policy comparison. It's done based on feelings, based on their perception, which was created by news, which were created by TV episodes. These are the only, and people have busy life. Nobody has more than 5-10 minutes to even think about the policy. What is the policy of party A, party B? Nobody has the time. They just go about their life, and as long as something hit their house, like the what happened in Washington D.C., having a red paint in support of Hamas, until it comes to their vehicle or until it comes to their house wall, they don't even see something is bad happening out there.
Yeah,
That's a level of
it's not an issue. It's not an issue unless it's in your backyard. Hey, before we close out this episode, tell me how you met Donald Trump, how close you are with him now. I find it very interesting that you as an entrepreneur, he's taken the interest and time in you to hear your policies and positions. You're right. The Democrats treat this campaign like some sort of personality contest, and they can't stay far enough away from the issues because their position on the issues is so bad. So let me divert and distract your attention, and let me give you that feel-good, nice guy thing, and maybe I get you to like me. It doesn't matter what I stand for. How do you compare that to him?
Yeah, first I want to address your first question. Again, I knew about Donald Trump as a businessman and a gaming entrepreneur back in late 89 to 91. So my brother, my older brother, my blood brother, he came to this country in 91 time. During that time, Trump has inaugurated his casino in Atlantic City, Taj Mahal, and he worked with Trump closely from 91 to 2 3 years on various things. He was the international marketing director for this publishing company called Nightingale Conant, who does the audio tapes and video tapes. So during that interaction, he used to send the pictures with Donald Trump, a couple of pictures. So that's when I knew about him. And then fast forward almost 91 to 2015. So it's almost 14, 15 years later, or, so it's actually how much is 91 to 15 is almost like 15 plus 9, 24 years later. I got a opportunity to meet him during his fundraising and election campaign in November 2015. And obviously, I believe in higher power, universe, and God. And out of blue, we got into contact. And since then, the first meeting itself, I felt some that energy that he want to do something great for this country and for this people, which is hard to find. And I glued because of his first meeting. And then when I look back to my 24 years back, my brother had interaction. So that was like a no-brainer for me that somebody wants to put myself and Donald together, that superpower. And then later on, he went on to win the election. We did a couple of events, one in Pennsylvania, one in New Jersey. And as a president, I've seen him how devoted he is in celebrating Indian festivals like Diwali. Again, every president celebrate Diwali with a greeting, but he hosted in the 4 years, every year he hosted a Diwali party for almost 2 to 3 hours, calling the community leaders from Indian diaspora and treating them as their own family, and giving access into Oval Office, into White House. And then on that day, the menu is also Indian menu. Like, if somebody can do, and their kids also in some events, they go to the weddings with Indian dress. And these kind of things, which impressed me a lot. And then as a president, we had at least more than a dozen interactions. And the most important one was, having a 5 minute meeting to meet my, Indian cricket captain, legendary Sunil Gavaskar, for 5 minutes. And there was no appointment. He did it within 24 hours. And as a president, to get on a calendar, it takes at least 4 to 6 weeks to get on a calendar. He obliged our request and met us, for a few minutes. And that few minutes gone into a 30-minute conversation. So that's a kind of a respect he has for Indians and India. And he would, make sure not only Indians, because show me one guy who can put $1 billion on a venture which is an Indian name, Taj Mahal. He risked his life. He risked his half of his wealth. During that time, he was 2.5 billion worth at 1990. He put 1.25 billion, half of his fortune or money, wealth, into this one project. And show me one guy, even in India, who can put a Grand Canyon name in India. I can challenge all the billionaires in India who can put a Grand Canyon tower or Grand Canyon casino and invest $1 billion even today. I would, nobody can do it, honestly, unless you really feel from your heart that, that kind of a connectivity. So my
Yeah.
brother used to joke with me, hey, Nanda, you won't believe, even though he is American, his previous life, because we as a Hindus, we believe in past lives and future lives, because we believe in 8.4 million lives, not one life. Every living thing can have maximum 8.4 million, minimum 84,000 forms of life. So my brother is a very highly spiritual guy. He used to joke about Trump. He was Indian born in his previous life. That was a big statement. And then I connected the dots 24 years later. So since then, I'm a committed and loyal supporter. Again, I may not agree 100% of his way of talking or way of walking, but what he has done in actions as a president 4 years, I respect that. So as you know, every human has 10 dimensions of life. So I am interested in President Trump as a dignitary, then get into his personal or private business affairs. There are systems in place, and I'm not interested in anything beyond his make this country great again. Again, I'm not a one to judge anybody, including Trump. So it's God who will judge, or there are courts which will judge. I'm only committed for his return to White House.
You know, Nanda, I'm trying to figure out why we don't like him 100% of the time on 100% of the issues. And it dawned on me, I've been married 40 years now, just last week, and I don't know, my wife and I, not every day was perfect. You know what I mean? So, so, I mean, 40 years of marriage, who gets it 100% of their way, 100% of the time, and thinks it's panacea all the time? So you mean to tell me that Donald Trump has got a few rough spots? Like, oh, I think I can take that better than the destruction of a nation. you, you know?
No, again, as a president, he is the best president we have ever seen in White House in our lifetime in the last 50 years. Again, as a person, like I said, 10 dimensions. His communication, sometimes it is out of line. Again, the point is, who are we to judge? Are you happy with the sweet talk? Are you happy with the sweet career for your kids and grandkids? Do you want
That's
somebody who can read from teleprompter because they're given a sheet and they don't want to put the words that they want from their heart? Yes, he want to talk without teleprompter. He want to be as a natural human or a natural person he can. Again, he made mistakes, but he has evolved from that mistakes. And on July 3rd, I'm glued. He's a God chosen warrior because somebody taking 8 bullets, 3 of them almost targeted for him, 5 of them missed totally to the crowds. But what are the chances, as a mathematician or anybody can look at the chances of surviving when the chances of hitting is 94% from that distance, from that angle, and he survived that attack. That's the way, God shows us miracle, and he has shown the worst 3.5 years so that
yeah,
people can appreciate what he has done for blacks, what he has done for immigrants, what he has done for Americans. Because unless you see the 3.5 years of mismanagement and total chaos, total illegals, total wars, you won't appreciate the greatness of what Donald Trump has delivered. So that's the way I see it. Again, it's all God's plan. We forgot the name of the God because of our busy lives, but now we need to, pray for our forgiveness and ask for our forgiveness and see the apples to apples. Don't stuck with what he said. People, especially the mainstream media, one word he say, they try to blow out into 10 different ways. And guys, don't think that these are all truth channels. None of the mainstream media, including Republican channels, they are not God's will or God's word. They are in business. They get paid by hour, by article, and they do the best they can to make money. Not, unless we have some laws which will put them under penalty, people can go after them to sue them. None of the things what you see on television or press or read an article, don't believe it. You do your homework, and if you don't have time, then blindly look at one party who are living by the principles of democracy, who are keeping the American interest first and keeping American wealthy, American safety, American prosperity. All these things are done by only one party today. I'm convinced 100%. The other side, they are interested in adding more legals, more illegals, more wars, and sending more money unaccounted to the other countries. Because when you send the money for other countries, I'll give a simple example based on the US Congress session that I witnessed by Ted Cruz, our honorable US Senator. He raised the question how crazy we are to send $100 billion as a humanitarian aid to Palestinians, where we know 80 to 90% went into the hands of Hamas. This is nothing but sponsoring the people who want the destruction of America, who want to kill Americans. I don't understand. That's a question he raised, and even I don't have the answers. Why would anybody go to that extent under a humanitarian and humanity aid and then route the money to the wrong hands? And they are using that money to attack Israel and attack and kill President Trump and
yeah.
kill Americans. So why we should stop all this?
Nanda Baghi. Nanda's been around folks for about 24 years with experience in technology and business, which includes 12 years working as Big Four consultant, where he assisted in delivering innovative information and integrated and intelligent systems and solutions for various Fortune 500 companies. He is an immigrant to the United States, but Nanda Baghi is a true American patriot and a proud American. And as a fellow American, Native American, I can tell you I'm very proud that he calls himself an American and is very interested in helping us make this nation a better nation. His insight on Donald Trump just now has been very interesting in this episode that started on matters related to abortion rights, and then we kind of drifted into some other topics. We're going to take a cut right now. We're coming back to talk about gender equality issues and taxes with Nanda Baghi right after this.
Thanks for joining us for Gene Valentino's GrassRoots TruthCast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and God bless America.
Hi, I'm Elliot Chodoff. I'm from Israel. I was just with Gene Valentino on the GrassRoots TruthCast. A great show, wonderful guy teaching important stuff to the American people. So please subscribe.